Okay, okay. So, Madam Chair, you're on.
Yes.
I get a slice of pizza now.
Right. Well, hello all and welcome. And I wanted, on behalf of the Board of Directors, my name is Denise Frisbee. I'm the chair of the board. With me is Director Jim Harper. And we are really excited to welcome Senator Jeff Merkley to the campus. I have to give a big thank you to the ASPCC for their hosting this National Voter Registration Day, and to the Sylvania campus. So let me turn it over to our academic dean, Dean Jeff Triplett, and he will introduce the senator for us.
Thank you, Chair Frisbee. As she mentioned, I'm the Dean of Instruction for the campus, and on behalf of the district administration as well as the campus administration, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for being here. I've been asked to say a couple words about the campus. You probably already know most of this. We're the oldest, largest campus. I have to be careful when and where I say that because I could get in trouble, but we are the oldest and largest. We have a variety of offerings, both lower division collegiate, things like psychology, history, sociology, political science, but we also have quite an offering of CTE, career technical education. We have a variety of engineering programs, civil mechanical engineering, electronic engineering technology, and a host of others. One of the things we're really proud about is our students are generally quite successful, but there's something I would ask that you help us with. Kind of like having your voice heard through voting, this term we're starting an across-the-board online assessment tool for course evaluation. And so please, 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 when you see that come out, go in, spend a couple minutes, provide your feedback. That way we can do a better job of what we do now. So I appreciate that. And with that, I would like to introduce Daisy Nguyen, who is our Executive Director. She's the Executive Director for the Sylvania Campus ASPCC.
Thank you, Jeff.
Sure.
So, good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, Senator Jeff Merkley. So we are very gladly to have you here with us today. So my name is Daisy Nguyen, and I'm the Executive Director for ASPCC, the Associate Student of PCC here at Sylvania campus. I'm getting a little bit nervous here. So ASPCC, we are a student leader program that we have at Sylvania and also at other campuses at PCC as well. So we're working on to have student voice heard throughout the campus on the house level, you know, just get the student voice on student issues and whatnot. And furthermore, we also work to enhance the collaboration among students, staff, faculties, and other stakeholders of PCC as well as, and also the community around PCC in Portland area. So one thing I want to address now is that we, myself, ASPCC, and Sylvania campus, we really appreciate your support, dear Senator Jeff Merkley. Your support to our community colleges, and you know, we know that you work a lot on the environmental movement, that our campus also work on a lot to improve on the environmental issues. And we also want to thank you for all the effort you put onto the textbook issue that our students are working on as well. So again, we're really excited to have you here with us on this afternoon section, and we hope that everybody here, student, faculty, staff, everybody will get inspired from you, and we will do more and, you know, actively engage in our whatever we're doing in our career. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really quickly, Eric Jenkson's with the formal introduction. Get in here, come on. Our legislative affairs director.
So yeah, so just to introduce to everybody, this is Eric. He's our legislative director for ASPCC, and he will have a quick announcement.
Hey everybody. Senator Jeff Merkley was originally from Myrtle Creek, Oregon. He graduated from David Douglas High School right here in Portland. So he's a local senator. And he's the first in his family to attend college, so he's never forgotten the importance of education. You can tell that in a couple of ways. He fought to increase Pell Grants by more than $17 billion. He made student loans easier to repay, and he consistently earned straight A's on education issues from leading advocacy groups. So welcome to campus, Senator Jeff Merkley. It's an honor to have you here today.
Thank you. Well, Daisy and Eric, thank you so much for inviting me and welcoming me for this National Day of Voter Registration. You know, I have to say it's good to be back here on the campus. When Mary and I were first married and came back to Oregon, it was 1992, and she started taking some pre-nursing classes here at PCC. And I figured since she was getting to go to school, I'd also take a course. So I looked through the student book and said, karate, out here at this campus right here. And so I came out here for my very first day of karate class and went home with a pulled neck muscle, never to return. Never return to class, that is. But it's been great to come several times as a senator, including when the fuel cells were being dedicated here on campus as part of one of the green initiatives of the college, and using that energy as a very low to no polluting strategy for, I think they're even used to heat the swimming pools, I believe. And it shows how many different issues that the college is involved in. And while I'm here formally in the concept of voter registration, I think we have to set that aside for a minute, because voter registration is a means to an end. And that is, how do we make our community and our state and our world a better place? It's a question we should ask ourselves all the time as we think about what careers we're studying, or how we interact with our friends, or who we're going to support at the polls. And so I thought I'd just do a little question here to kind of get our heads into that space and mention some of the issues that people have cared a lot about, and see if that might be your top issue. So if your top issue is, say, ending the war in Afghanistan, bringing our sons and daughters home, raise your hand. Quite a few. If your top issue is taking on global warming and promoting clean, green energy, raise your hand. If your main goal is creating jobs and get our economy going so that people can have a work to go to when you graduate, raise your hand. I see a lot of support for that. Well, and both hands, all 10 fingers. And so we often think these things as abstract, but whether it's our county commissioners or our city councilors or our state representatives, our state senators, or our federal folks in Congress, they're addressing issues every single day that play into those issues and so many others. And I must say, it is really, I truly believe we have to change a general structure in America, which is we have to stop spending so much overseas on foreign wars and foreign nation building, and do a lot more nation building right here at home. And that means both our education infrastructure and our physical infrastructure. Physical infrastructure, critical to competition in what is now a world economy. Education infrastructure, so important to the success of our students, and quite frankly to our future economy. And so that is why it matters. That is why it matters that you sign up to vote. You know, how many folks, how many students across America missed the deadline to register in their state 4 years ago in 2008? Anyone want to strike a guess? Yes? Oh, you missed. Oh, sorry. Well, we could do it that way. I didn't want to put anybody on the spot and embarrass them. But clearly there are folks here who would say, yeah, I was among those who missed that registration deadline last time. And across the nation, it's a lot of folks. Anyone want to take a stab at how many students across the country missed the voter registration deadline? 15 or 50? 50. I don't know the percentage, actually. I don't think it's that high, but maybe it is. But the number, about 6 million. About 6 million students. And so what are we all going to do today? Register to vote. Register to vote. Or let's take one of those phrases about often used in drunk driving. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. How about friends don't let friends not register to vote? So I hope that you will spread the word as individuals, as leaders. Who can tell me what the deadline to register to vote is here in Oregon?
October 16th.
October, wow, okay. I had no idea what it was. So I was hoping somebody had the answer. October 16th, so it leaves a couple weeks, but let's not wait till October 16th to go, oh, I needed, use those networks that you all have. It's such a different world now from just a few years ago. Of course, I have 2 teenagers, and teenagers introduce you to the world of both online gaming and Facebook, right? And how many folks have a Facebook site? I don't. Well, I do as an official, but not a person. Okay, let's see those hands again. Facebook. Okay, huge amount of network. So just the 50 or so of you in this room who have that times, what, 100 contacts average that you might have? Immediately we're at 5,000 folks who also have 100 or so contacts. Now we're talking 500,000 people. Did I do that math right? I mean, just a couple tiers of networks. So utilize those networks. Determine before you go to sleep tonight, be it 11 p.m. or midnight, or you're studying hard until the wee hours of the morning. Before you go to bed, send that message out and saying, a hot alert, high alert, red hot alert, whatever works. Friends, you got to register to vote, and here's how you do it. If you can put it in a link to the Secretary of State website or whatever recommended system there is, that would be that'd be tremendous. So thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for being engaged. You wouldn't be engaged if you weren't engaged. You wouldn't be in this room to begin with. Let's take and cut that 6 million folks who missed the deadline in half. And let me tell you this. I met the governor's Hispanic Affairs advisor the other day, and he started something that was about getting Oregonians registered to vote, to get them engaged years ago. And I was reflecting with him that some states have copied what he's done, only they put a little twist on it, and it was kind of like the deregister voters. Have you heard about these efforts in different states to put up roadblocks to voting? Mm-hmm. Well, Oregon's not in that category. We celebrate the engagement of individuals. We celebrate participation. It's part of our civic responsibility, but it's part of that glorious opportunity we have in a democracy to be part of the conversation and help steer where things go. So let's take charge of our state and our country. Let's vote. Let's get our friends to vote. Thank you.
So quickly, I'm Rob Wagner. I'm the new Director of Government Relations for the college. And I just wanted to present Senator Merkley with the t-shirt. Now there's a little bit of a story here. First of all, the first one of these he got at the 50-year celebration in a nice light blue color with the diamond on there. This one, we looked at Senator Merkley a year ago and said, well, how are we going to size this? Trying to figure out what size to get Senator Merkley for our new t-shirt. So we put an extra large together. Here, you can hold this up. And what we didn't realize is that Senator Merkley has lost 40 pounds and just did his first half Ironman triathlon. So unfortunately, I'll have to get you a new one. But I will say, as someone who has worked with Jeff for a number of years, one of my favorite stories, this just typifies who he is after he got elected to the U.S. Senate, I called the House and Mary picked up the phone. I said, I just want to call and touch base with Jeff. And she said, well, Rob, he's up on the roof. And I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to be up on the roof when you're a U.S. Senator. But there he was, like fixing his own roof. So he's always been one to pick up the tools. He's asking us to pick up the tools. And I want all of the students here to know to partner with the faculty, to partner with our campus, and let's go get everybody registered to vote this election cycle. Thank you very much. Yeah. And then now we're actually going to take a few people are going to go with Senator Merkley, and we're going to go around and do a couple class presentations trying to encourage people to register to vote.
I'll let you kind of move on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator. Thank you. I'm a supporter of the national nurse, and this is my cousin, Terry. Thank you for supporting us, and I'm so happy that your wife was a pre-nurse. Follow us by No, I'm not. Well, I'm the communication.
Yeah. And I work with ASPCC, which is the Sexual Assault Prevention Program funded through the CDC here at PCC.
Does he need his mic back on when we get to the room? I'd be happy to have a conversation with you and Jake and Ed, whoever we need to talk about that. So there's actually
Hey guys.
How long is your program?
Each of those are 2 years.
Senator Merkley to your class today. So.
Hello, greetings everyone. And so I thought I'd just do a little survey here. Raise your hand if your top issue, say, that you're most fervent about is that we end the war in Afghanistan. A couple. Okay, how about your top issue is concern about clean energy and keeping the environment clean and passing that legacy on? I see a few hands. How about the top issue is we need to create jobs so that you'll have employment for families? I see. Anybody else? That's obviously. Anyone else have a top issue they want to share? Yes? Healthcare. Affordable healthcare, quality healthcare. And of course, you're all part of the healthcare world now. And so when you think about those, say to yourself, well, you know, nothing good will get done if I as an individual don't join with others and elect people who share my view. Whether it be a city councilor, or a county commissioner, or a state representative, or state senator, or someone who represents you in Congress or in the U.S. Senate, as I do. And also, I mean, there's many other forms to be involved. There's the writing letters and sending emails and joining marches and so forth. But voting is just a direct impact. You know, I won my primary election by 3%, 3 out of 100, pretty slim margin. I won my general election by 3%, pretty slim margin. A few people who had an opinion that the other candidate would be better, then their ideas would be ones that would be being advocated for. And by the way, thank you if any of you have helped me win that election. I appreciate it. But it's so empowering that you as individuals get to do this. And so I just want to encourage you to not only to vote, and does anybody know what the registration deadline is for voting, for registering to vote? Well, I didn't know either, but somebody in the last group told me that it's October 16th. Is that the right date?
You got the right day.
Okay, October 16th. So you got a couple weeks, but consider the things that matter to you and realize that's why it's worth registering. Now, if anybody has any questions, softballs for me, hardballs for Rob.
One thing I have to say is I worked with Senator Merkley when he was the Speaker of the Oregon House in 2007 down in the Oregon Legislature, and we passed legislation. It was Senate Bill 951 that requires all community colleges and all public higher education institutions in Oregon to come up with a voter institutional and registration plan. So I want to thank you for your leadership in spurring our colleges and giving opportunities for Cody out here to go around and do class reps, get people registered to vote, because really, if you want to talk about affordable post-secondary education, this is where the rubber meets the road. So.
How many folks are getting some form of Pell Grant or scholarship to help attend? How about student loan? So it directly affects you, the fact that we had a huge debate over student loans and decided to switch to a direct loan system that has a lower interest rate. And this year we had a big debate over keeping the interest rate at 3.5% for new loans. Well, so it matters directly. And we had a huge debate in 2010 over Pell Grants and the amount of scholarship aid that would be available because the cost of education has kept going up. So those are just two very direct impacts that involvement in policy or voting can make a difference.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you all
Great
very
seeing
much.
everyone.
And good luck in your careers.
We've got one more class. We're going to lead the way here. Okay. Cody, do you want to do a pitch at the beginning? Oh, you know, at the of the next class.
What was Cody and Raylene are both my strongest.
Oh, okay.
So the two of them together
would do a voter registration.
would be awesome.
Okay, up with you and do a voter registration pitch that they've been doing in our classrooms this week.
Okay, good. How do we want to do this? You want to do the pitch and they'll say a few words afterwards, or?
That sounds good. We can introduce you.
So, I'm so excited. This was my first chance.
So to kick off National Voter Registration Day, we have an amazingly special guest here on campus you may or may not have heard. Please join Cody and I and the rest of our ASPCC Senate team in welcoming United States Senator Jeff Merkley.
Thank you. Well, Cody and Raylene, thank you. And thank you for going around to classes and talking to folks. I understand that you're all involved in graphic design, right? And is this day one of your 2-year program? Or the very start? Anybody a little nervous about it? I hear that nervous laugh, like, well, maybe, but I'm not going to admit it. Well, it's so cool you're undertaking this program, and the things that your elected leaders are involved in impact your lives all the time in ways you might or might not realize. How many folks think that in the course of the 2 years you're going to need a student loan? Fair number. How about a Pell Grant or other form of grant scholarship? Quite a few. And how many are concerned about the price per credit that Raylene was just talking about? Well, that's just like 3 immediate things that government is involved in at different levels. Now, certainly in terms of the cost per credit, that's a decision of the board. And the board of PCC is an elected board. Yes. It's an elected board, so you get to vote on it as a registered voter. Certainly in terms of the cost of a student loan, we had a huge battle this year in the U.S. Senate. Were we going to be able to keep the interest at 3.5%, or would it double to 7%? And there were folks who thought it should double, and there were folks like me who thought it shouldn't double, because we must enable our citizens, our students, to be able to get the education to fulfill their potential. If we don't do that, then not only are you all not able to pursue your dreams fully, but our economy isn't going to thrive fully. So it's in the interest of you all directly, and indirectly all of us. And the same with Pell Grants. It was a huge fight in 2010 trying to expand Pell Grants by 60%. And of course there's all those other issues that may be on your personal agenda. Maybe it's the war in Afghanistan. Maybe it's the pollution that comes from burning too much oil and coal. And I'll tell you, the federal government does have a big role to play in community college. There's something called the Workforce Investment Act, in which we channel funds to community colleges, because community colleges are so cost effective in helping folks acquire skills that can be used in our economy, from graphic design to automobile mechanics, if you will, a huge spectrum. And think about some of the decisions we make in the US Congress. For example, this year we will spend about $120 billion in Afghanistan. That's an enormous amount of money. What if a third of that was directed into our higher education, both our community colleges and our four-year? Some support for that. It would make a big difference, and maybe tuition would be able to be substantially lower, or Pell Grants and scholarships higher to help. So it matters. How many folks are old enough to register to vote but haven't registered yet? Well, one brave person admitted it. I suspect there's more, that you have company. And so we have some forms, I think, right here.
And Senator Merkley, in Oregon, you only have to be 17 years old to register to vote. You'll receive your ballot on or after your 18th birthday. So 17 is
okay, very good. So would you like a registration form? No pressure. Sure. No pressure. You have until October 16th to register, but most of you, I suspect, especially because you're in this computer world of graphic design, use the computer to create networks. How many folks have a Facebook site. Virtually everyone, okay. And that enables you to say to your friends tonight before you go to bed, hey, October 16th is the deadline. You know what? There's things that we need to change, like the affordability of education, or what, fill in what you really care about. Register to vote. You can put out a hot alert to all your friends. Just think, this classroom with the number of folks who you are connected to on each of your sites probably could reach 5,000 people. And what happens if those 5,000 people then turn around and put out their word to their friends? We would not have happened then what happened 4 years ago. 4 years ago, we had 6 million students miss the deadline to register. And therefore, their voice as a student force who was interested in issues of making sure we have jobs to get to after your education and funds for the education process itself, their voice was lost. That makes a difference.
If you've moved recently, you might not be registered to vote. If you haven't voted in a while, you might not be registered to vote. Oregon's a use it or lose it state. If you don't keep voting, eventually you get dropped off the rolls. So you gotta keep voting, and you gotta keep registered. You gotta keep track of that and make sure that you're still registered.
We have to go. Thank you all very much. Good luck in your careers. Take care.
A photo of the students and then
that is over $1 trillion, and
The message you're trying to get out to your students.
that 1 in 6 students are in default, and that actually student loan debt has surpassed credit card debt.
Yes, a huge concern. That's absolutely right. It's higher than credit card debt, and it cannot be changed through bankruptcy. And so it's important that every loan a student gets is actually for a legitimate education program and put to effective use. I think, as you might know, this last year was a big battle in which I was fighting to keep the interest rates low on student loans, because student education has to be affordable, and it's essential for people to fulfill their potential. And it's also to have a robust economy. We need to have a well-educated citizenry. So we're all in this together.
Do you feel like the future of federal college resources such as Pell Grants are actually in jeopardy since we're facing such a kind of tough economic time?
Yes. Well, I think the answer to virtually any program right now is it's going to be part of the conversation. Because we have so many challenges with the so-called fiscal cliff coming in January. But here's the thing. We need to prioritize those things that are essential to have successful children and a successful economy. And student aid should be right near at the top of the list.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you.
As close as you possibly can. Excellent. All right, everyone, on voter registration on 3. Yeah, there it is. Oh. Tweeting it? Tweeting it. Okay. So Jeff, tweeting is this new technology that they have.
Hey, I follow you on Twitter.
I'm going to hear about this one.
1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Great.
All right.
Oh, this is...
Yes.